Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the official trailer that came out for a new series on Prime Video called Paper Girls. If you haven't seen it already, I'll include a link to it in the description down below. But it seems like a really interesting premise. Obviously, it's these paper girls in, was it 1988, Cleveland, Ohio, and then a storm or something happens. Sky changes color, and all of a sudden they find themselves in the year 2019. In fact, they bump into the older versions of themselves. I mean, who knows if they all bump into themselves? Probably not. Some characters probably are going to be probably not as prominent in the story because it seems like only one of them. It's like her character seems to be like the main adult that they interact with, at least in the trailer. So I think that's such an interesting premise, especially because it's like, well, then your time travel brain starts thinking like, well, does that mean they eventually do go back to their own time and it's a whole loop thing because they never remember, and then now it's like, oh, here you are older running into your younger self. But it does seem like they're almost being chased by like some version of time police who are after them because it's like, right, you're paradoxes, so you kind of have to, either they're being arrested. I mean, we see someone getting shot by like a laser beam or something, or just a laser, not just a beam, but a laser at one point during the trailer, so it suggests maybe they're straight up, probably any paradoxes or anomalies in the timeline, they probably just straight up kill. But I'm like, you'd think you'd have to pop them back in the original time, but maybe it's one of those time things of like, oh yeah, like there is a version of you still there living your lives, but it's just like this particular time anomaly happened by killing this paradox and stuff like that. You just realign and fix the timeline. I would assume that wouldn't be the case, but yeah, it's like you would think you toss them back in, but I guess it's like, right, the longer they're here, the more of a threat they're causing to the timeline, so they have to go. They can't just be left alone and put back in their time. It's too late, because maybe they don't have the technology a la Man in Black or Legends of Tomorrow, where you can wipe people's memories without it being an issue of affecting the timeline. But seemed like a really interesting premise. It does seem like the main threat is these, once again, time police of some sort. It seems like they're kind of like the main enemy. But I think it's one of those like, oh my god, space-time continuum is collapsing if we don't fix this type of situation. This is based on a comic book, specifically one written by Brian K. Vaughan, published by Image Comics, interestingly enough. I like just the premise in general seems really, really interesting, so I'm curious to kind of find out more about what caused the incident that led to them time traveling in the first place. And like I said, these are just speculations on my part about what this organization that's after them is doing, what their intentions are, like how do you go back to your own time, like I brought up before, like where the paper girls are today, because present day, in the future, because it doesn't seem like they're as tight knit. But I think it's interesting. I think it's going to be that interesting thing where it's like, right, they weren't a tight-knit group originally, but they become a tight-knit group because of their adventures. But once again, the timey-wiminess of it all, of like, maybe they've already been through all this, they just don't remember, because they were, so it kind of creates this time loop, and maybe like the time loop breaks by the end of the season or something like that. It just seems, it seems really interesting, and I'm excited to kind of fully see what the series is all about. Obviously, these are just some of my thoughts. I'd love to get to know yours in the comments down below. What did you think? What are you feeling? What are some things you want to see from the series? What are some things you expect to see from the series? Are you someone who's read the original comic book? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.